From time to time, the wind, being the windy thing that it is, brings down the occasional tree, and rather than waste it, it's worth chopping it up and burning it on the wood burner. Now this is a form of willow apparently, although I'm not entirely convinced that that's true. Apparently willow is a terrible tree to burn in a wood burner. It produces all sorts of nasty toxins and that sort of thing, lots and lots of sort of slimy stuff that gets coated on the insides of the chimney. However, if you let it sit for a number of years, all that kind of crystallises and solidifies inside the wood, and it's not too much of a problem. So I'm going to cut this tree up, stick it into a shed, and then forget about it until a couple of years down the line when we can burn it on the wood burner, and we'll be all nice and toasty and lovely. And that's what I'm going to do now. So, stupid hat, ridiculous trousers, and a chainsaw. I'm just making myself a bit of room to work in, because it's all a bit trippy and not in the, 90s sort of dance movement kind of way. More trippy in a kind of a, oh, I've fallen over. What I'm wearing here, I'm wearing special trousers that if I were to catch the blade of the chainsaw, which obviously is moving round and round on these things are designed so that they snag the blade up, so that they never actually reach my legs, and it stops the chainsaw and theoretically stalls it, which is good, because I'm rather attached to my legs. The downside is they don't make it hot. Worm! When you consider all this used to be done by hand, people with type saws as opposed to type saws, and you'd have big horses that would pull it all around and that sort of thing. So you'd fell a tree, you'd knock all the bits of it you didn't want, and then you'd drag it to a saw pit, and then big burly men would do big burly men type things. And now it can all be achieved with a bloke of my size and stature, which is not huge, and a chainsaw. Really, this is the point that you sort of figure that very primly dressed young maidens should come out and offer me glasses of lemonade, but that's not going to happen.
Too damn right.
We've run out of juice. Well, you've got to check the chain oil. But if it doesn't get chain oil, the whole thing will seize up and it'll stop working, and then we'll be back to horses and carts and the world will come to a halt, all for the want of a little bit of chain oil. A lot of these machines, you'll see they have a little plastic bulb thing you press on and it primes it, draws the fuel through to the engine. This for some reason doesn't have one of those, and I've no idea why. When I just started up a little while ago, first time round, it took 20 pulls on the thing. Hopefully it's not going to take that long. Take a bit of a break now, not because of the fact that I particularly need one, but because of the fact that it's starting to rain, and this camera and rain don't mix. So I'm going to use it as an excuse to go and drink tea and drop that, and then we'll come back and finish the rest of this later on. See you in a bit. Take that camera and run.